Hello guys, welcome to your first of your reading lessons for after Easter. I've got my copy of the text here. Hopefully all of you have found a copy of a text of something that you're reading at home. If not, you're welcome to use this text. I'll be reading chapters of it every day. So once you've watched this tutorial about the actual activity, you could then click on and listen to the first chapter, well, the prologue, and then the first chapter from Nowhere Emporium. It is a really lovely book, so even if you're reading a book of your own at home and using the activities for the book of your own, it's well worth listening to this book as well, just for a bit of enjoyment, because it is a wonderful book. So, your Monday task, which I've sent out to all of you, is to use those skimming and scanning techniques in order to find vocabulary and words within this text that you aren't familiar with, so that you can then use those skills we've taught you to find definitions for those. Remember, with skimming and scanning, you're not reading everything. You are just quickly whizzing along lines, looking out for key things. Sometimes that's looking for key words. If you're being asked in a reading paper to find a certain thing, then you can use your skimming and scanning techniques rather than reading back over it. It's sometimes looking for key characters, it's looking for key information, but in this instance, it is to look for those words that we're unfamiliar with. I like to use my finger, personally, as I skim and scan along, just to make sure my eyes are nice and focused. You can use a pen, a pencil, you can use whatever you want. You don't have to use anything. It just helps me focus in on key things. So, I'm not reading each and every word, I'm just whizzing along, and I'm looking out for any words that I'm unsure of. So straight away I've found the word abuzz. Now, I am not 100% certain what the word abuzz means, so I am going to write that one down. But for now, sorry about the rustling, that's the stand that I've made to be able to perch my phone so you can see this video. For now, I'm not going to do any working out of what that word means yet. I'm going to come back to that, but I'm going to get the words down first. I'm going to keep going along, again looking out for any words that I am unsure of. Again, jostled, not sure of the meaning of the word jostled. You'll notice I'm leaving a bit of space in between these words. Also really important, it sounds so obvious, but make sure you are spelling these words correctly. No use with this when we're learning new words and learning the spelling of new words in writing them down wrong. So make sure you are writing those down properly. I'm going to quickly carry on, whizzing through. And again, remember, I'm not looking for actually reading each of these things. Got the word intricate just there. At the moment, I am just skimming and scanning along. There's that rustling and rumbling again, because I don't want to be reading all of it. We are going to read them, but not at this point. At this point, we're just getting down any vocabulary that we're unsure of. Obviously yours might be different to mine. You might not come up with the exact same ones. You might think that you know what some of these words means. You might have others that you don't know what they mean that I have skipped out. Everybody's will be different at this point. Spectacle, I'm going to write down spectacle. And that's it. That is, oh no, not quite. Slightly more of the prologue to whiz through. Recalled. Okay. And that is everything from the prologue. And I'm just going to stick with the prologue for this tutorial because I don't think we need to go on through everything. So the words that I've got so far are abuzz, jostled, intricate, spectacle, and recalled. Now, as I'm sure you know, because you've done this activity with us no end of times in your big reading whilst at school, there are lots of ways we can find definitions for words. The obvious one is to look them up in a dictionary. However, I would like you to hold fire on doing that. I want that to be our very last step if we can't work them out any other way. I want us to use certain techniques first. And one of the things I want us to do, the most important thing for us to do, is to look at these words in their context. Now, their context is within the sentence that we found them. So the first word is a buzz, and I know that came quite early on. So that falls in the sentence. Word travelled quickly around the village, and by midday the place was abuzz with rumour and hearsay. So, I know certain things about this word already, just from looking at it in context. I know, for example, it must be an adjective because it comes after and as a description of a noun. By midday, the place being a common noun, was abuzz. So, was abuzz. It must be describing it. Was being the verb, abuzz, was abuzz. So it's either describing the place or the verb being was. In this instance, I think it's describing the place. The place was abuzz with rumour and hearsay. So I know it must be an adjective. I know it must be describing that word. So now I need to think of what other adjectives could describe a place if it is abuzz with rumour and hearsay. It could be the place was lively with rumour and hearsay. The place was, well, I mean, the obvious one is to take part of the word, and this is another technique we can use, the word itself. Looking at the word and thinking, what words do we know that are similar or actually contained within the word? And in this case, I know the word contains the word buzz. A buzz could be to do with a buzz, to do with that noise, that hum, that buzz. So it could be that buzzing, the place was buzzing with rumour and hearsay. It could be that idea of something being noisy, something being lively, full of sound, full of movement, full of, well, buzz, I suppose, fits. And that would work if I replaced that instead, and by midday the place was buzzing with rumour and hearsay. So, in this instance, I've got to start to get a good idea. I'm going to put that a buzz, a synonym for that, might be buzzing, and I do apologise again about the noise of the rattling. I'll see whether I'm right with that when it comes to the end and we get to then go back and check. But I'm then going to keep doing that same technique. The next word was jostled, so I just need to find where jostled was in my text, and if I was focusing when I skimmed and scanned, I should have a rough idea of where that is. So they jostled for position and traded strange and wonderful theories about where the shop had come from. So they jostled for position. Well, the fact it has an ed on the end tells me straight away that this is a past tense word. If it's got that suffix, ed, that's going to be a past tense word. And in all likelihood, because I know that most words that have ed as a suffix put on the end, to make them past tense are verbs, this is most probably a verb. And that fits. They jostled for position. They jostled. So that must be something they are doing. If they're jostling for position, if I think about position, I think about a race. I think about what position somebody is in a race. And if you're jostling for position, that might be running for position. That might be fighting for position. That might be pushing, bumping, prodding. So I'm assuming that verb, and remember, if I'm thinking of synonyms for these words, my synonyms need to be the same type of word. So if I'm thinking of jostled, I might think that is something to do with maybe running, or it could even be to do with sort of fighting for position. And again, I'll see whether that's correct as we get nearer the end. Intricate is my next word. So I'd go over and I'd find where intricate was, which is just here. So, blocking the doorway was a golden gate, so fine and intricate that some wondrous spider might have spun it. So fine and intricate. Well, fine, I know fine in this case is being used as an adjective, and it's got and in between it, which suggests to me that that word intricate is probably going to be an adjective as well. Now, my English group, we've come across intricate in every book we've read so far this year, so I hope at the moment that my English group are sat watching this video shouting at the screen what the word intricate means. It came up in the Jaguar trials, it came up again in Spymaster, so hopefully you all already know what that one is. It's always difficult with adjectives to work out exactly what they could mean, because obviously it requires me to think about what a golden gate, how might I describe a golden gate? But the synonym, not the synonym, sorry, the simile that's used, that some wondrous spider might have spun, that makes me think of a web. That makes me think of those thin strands of silk on the web. And I think that those thin strands of silk, if the gate looked like it was made of those thin, beautiful strands of silk, then maybe beautiful might be a good synonym. Or if not beautiful, then maybe delicate might work. So I'm going to put that for now. And again, I will come to a point where I'll be using a dictionary to check this. Hopefully my group are all shouting at me, telling me what the actual word intricate means there, and telling me whether or not I was close. Okay, we've then got the word spectacle. Even before I go on to find the word spectacle, straight away my brain is telling me something, and my brain is telling me that these things here, another word for glasses, is spectacles. So if I know that another word for glasses is spectacles, then maybe spectacle has something to do with glasses or vision or sight. So I'm going to find where spectacle came up, and I'm going to see whether or not it does seem to have anything to do with sight. Now, spectacle is just here. Everybody who'd gathered outside the Emporium was entranced. No one had ever seen a spectacle such as this. Well, the fact that it comes very near the word seen tells me that I think it does have something to do with vision, to do with sight. But if it's that they'd never seen a spectacle such as this, then maybe spectacle means something impressive. If they've never seen something as impressive as this, that might work. So I'm going to go with impressive. Again, my reading and my English group, we've done spectacle a few times. So hopefully there's a few of you out there shouting answers at the screen, or at least showing off to your parents and telling them what that is. Final word that I wrote down was recalled. And again, I've got this ed, got this past tense suffix being added on the end, which again is going to lead me into the direction of thinking recalled, that's probably almost certainly going to be a verb, with the original root word being recall, to recall something, and then the past tense, to have recalled something, with that ed suffix put on the end. Need to find it in its context again, and I actually can't remember where this one came up, so it might take me a little bit longer to find it. Recalled, here we are. More importantly, none of them recalled the price of admission, the little piece of themselves they'd given for a glimpse at the Emporium's hidden secrets and wonders. More importantly, none of them recalled the price of admission. So the price of admission, that's to do with the cost for entry, the cost of going into something, I know that much. And if none of them recalled it, could it be that none of them minded? None of them were bothered? But that would say the price, maybe. Most importantly, none of them recalled. It's an unusual one, this. If I look at the word itself and try and use that, I'm not being helped all that much by the context this time, so maybe I need to look at the word itself. I did say that it's got that suffix on the end, that ed, making it past tense, and that the root word would be recall, but maybe the root word isn't recall, maybe the root word is call, and it's also got a prefix, to recall. To re something is to do something again, and to call I think of as to sort of communicate or to shout. So maybe it's to shout something again. More importantly, none of them shouted again the price of admission. No, that doesn't quite work. But I think that must be to do something again, to recall. Not sure on that one, but I do think that it's got the suffix and the prefix. So I do think re is to do again. So it's to do again something in the past tense. So I'm going to leave that one, and there's nothing wrong with leaving one. If you're really unsure, then you can turn to your dictionaries and you can look it up. But do try and have a go as much as you can first. As you can see, I had a go with this one, and I do think it will be to do something again, to have something happen again, or something like that. So I'll come back to that. Hopefully that was useful. Like I say, you can use either the first chapter that I will have read on YouTube of The Nowhere Emporium, or you can use the text that you are using of your own book from home. That might be more useful, I think. It's always good to actually have a copy of the text. So if you have got some books at home, and hopefully everybody has, then do use those. If not though, make the most of my reading of The Nowhere Emporium. Like I say, it's a wonderful book. It's well worth having a read anyway. It's also got one of those lovely front covers where you get the hole in the front, leading you then into the main front cover, which I always really enjoy. Hope everybody's getting on okay. If you need to ask any questions, just email me and I'll respond as quickly as I can. But for now, that is your first Monday tutorial on The Nowhere Emporium and your reading tasks. Best of luck with those. I'll speak to you all again soon.